Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, Chapter 2, The Vanishing Glass. Nearly 10 years had passed since the Dursley had woken up to find their nephew on the front step. But Private Drive had hardly changed at all. The sun rose on the same tiny front garden and lit up the brass number 4 on the Dursleys' front door. It crept into the living room, which was almost exactly the same that it had been on the night when Mrs. Dursley had seen that fateful news report about the owls. Only the photographs on the mantelpiece really showed how much time had passed. 10 years ago, there had been a lot of pictures of what looked like a large pink beach ball wearing different colored bobble hats. But Darlie Dursley was no longer a baby, and now the photographs showed a large blond boy riding the first bicycle roundabout at the fair, playing a computer game with his father, being hugged and kissed by his mother. The room had no sign that another boy lived in the house too. Yes, Harry Potter was still here, asleep at the moment, but not for long. His Aunt Petunia was awake, and it was the shrill voice which made the first voice of the day. Up! Get up now! Harry woke with a start. His aunt rapped on the door again. Up! She screeched. Harry heard her walking towards the kitchen and then the sound of the frying pan being put on the cooker. He rolled onto his back and tried to remember the dream he had been having. It had been a good one. There had been a flying motorbike in it. He had a funny feeling he'd had the same dream before. His aunt was back outside the door. Are you get up yet? She demanded. Nearly, said Harry. Well, get a move on. I want you to look after the bacon. And I don't you dare let it burn. I want everything perfect on Dursley's birthday. Harry grinned. What did you say? His aunt snapped through the door. Nothing. Dursley's birthday. How could he have forgotten? Harry got slowly out of bed and started looking for socks. He found a pair under his bed. After pulling a spider off one of them, put them on. Harry was used to spiders because the cupboard under the stairs was full of them, and that was where he slept. When he was dressed, he went down the hall into the kitchen. The table was almost hidden beneath all Dursley's birthday presents. It looked as though Dursley had got the new computer he wanted, not to mention the second television and the racing bike. Exactly why Dursley wanted the racing bike was a mystery to Harry, as Dursley was very fat and hated exercise, unless of course it involved pushing somebody. Dursley's favorite lunch bag was Harry, but he couldn't often catch him. Harry didn't look at, but he was very fast. Perhaps it has something to do with living in a dark cupboard. But Harry had always been small and skinny for his age. he looked even smaller and skinnier. And then he really was, because all he had to wear were old clothes of Dudley's, and Dudley was about 4 times bigger than he was. Harry had the thin face, knuckly knees, black hair, and bright green eyes. He wore round glasses, had together with a lot of sellotape because all the time Dudley had punched him on the nose. The only thing that Harry liked about his own appearance was every thin scar on his forehead, which was shaped like bolts of lightning. He had had it as long as he could remember, and the first question he could never remember asking his Aunt Petunia was now he had got it. In a car crash when your parents die, she had said, and don't ask questions. Don't ask questions. That was the first rule for quiet life with the Dursleys. Uncle Vernon entered the kitchen as Harry was turning over the bacon. "Come, you're here," he begged, by the way of a morning greeting. About once a week, Uncle Vernon looked over the top of his newspaper and shouted that Harry needed a haircut. Harry must have had more haircuts than the rest of the boys in his class put together, but it made no difference. His hair simply grew that way all over the place. Harry was frying eggs by the time Dudley arrived in the kitchen with his mother. Dudley looked a lot like Uncle Vernon. He had a large pink face, normal neck, small watery blue eyes, and thick blonde hair that lay smoothly on this thick, fat head. Aunt Petunia often said that Dudley looked like a baby ankle. Harry often said that Dudley looked like a pig with a wig. Harry put a plate of egg and bacon on a table, which was difficult as there wasn't much room. Dudley, meanwhile, was counting his presents. His face fell. 36, he said, looking up at his mother and father. "That's 2 less than last year, darling. You haven't counted Auntie March's present. See, it's under the big one from Mummy and Daddy." "All right, 37 then," said Dudley, going red in the face. Harry, who could see a huge Dudley tantrum coming on, began wolfing down his bacon as fast as possible in case Dudley turned the table over. Aunt Petunia obviously sensed danger too, because she said quickly, "And we'll buy you another 2 presents while we're out today. How's that, Pumpkin? 2 more presents. Is that right?" Dudley thought in a moment. It looked like hard work. Finally, he said slowly, "So I will have 39 sweetums," said Aunt Petunia. "Oh," Dudley sat down heavily and grabbed the nearest purse. "All right then." Uncle Vernon chuckled. "Little Tyke wants his money's worth, just like his father. And the boy, Dirtly, he ruffed dirty hair. At that moment, the telephone rang and Aunt Petunia went to answer it while Harry and Uncle Vernon watched Dirty Ian run the racing bike. A sign camera, a remote control airplane, 16 new computer games, and a video recorder. He was ripping the paper off a gold wristwatch when Aunt Petunia came back from the telephone, looking both angry and worried. "Bad news, Vernon," she said. "Mr. Fig's broken her leg. She can't take him." She jerked her head in Harry's direction. Dudley's mouth fell open in horror, but Harry's heart gave a leap. Every year on Dudley's birthday, his parents took him and friend out for a day to adventure parks, hamburger bars, or cinema. Every year, Harry has left behind with Mrs. Fig, a mad old lady who lived 2 streets away. Harry hated it there. The whole house smelled of cabbage, and Mrs. Fig made him look at photographs for all the cats she'd ever owned. "Now what?" said Aunt Petunia, looking furiously at Harry as though he'd blinded. Harry knew he ought to feel sorry that Mrs. Fig had broken her leg, but it wasn't easy when he reminded himself it could be a whole year before he had to look at Tybalt, Snowy, Mr. Bowles, and Toffee again.